Welcome back to Hardware Unboxed for more Computex coverage. And once again, I'm back at the MSI booth, this time to check out their new GeForce GTX 1080 Ti Lightning Z graphics card. Firstly, a big thanks to MSI for bringing me here this year. I wouldn't be here without them. If you're in the market for a new gaming desktop PC, then check out MSI's high-end Core i7 systems. Also, right now they're offering a free Uplay game key for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands with select purchases. It's also possible to score a Wildlands game code with select MSI motherboards. Check out the new X99, Z270 and H270 range, link is in the video description. One of my favourite graphics card series is MSI's Lightning range. The previous GTX 980 Ti and R9 290X models were particularly good. The only issue in my opinion was the colour scheme, and I don't mean to say the cards weren't visually appealing, quite the opposite in fact. However, unless you were building a black and yellow themed rig, they did look a bit out of place. This time around though, MSI has gone with a much more neutral theme using black, white and silver. As you might have guessed, providing the bling this time is a plethora of RGB lighting, though I have to say MSI has done a really nice job here. In my opinion, the lighting on most graphics cards, even the really expensive GTX 1080 Ti models, looks pretty rubbish. This thankfully isn't the case with the Lightning Z. MSI has used translucent plastic to cover the light from the source, and this provides a really sleek effect. It's very similar to how G-Skill's RGB memory looks. Finally, the RGB lighting also ties in with MSI's Mystic Light. Fancy lighting aside, the GTX 1080 Ti Lightning Z looks to be the real deal. Strapped onto the PCB is a bulky 2.5 slot cooler with triple Torx 2.0 fans. MSI calls this their Tri-Frozer cooling solution. I should point out that not all three fans are of the same dimensions. The middle fan is actually slightly smaller at 90mm, whereas the two either side measure 100mm. The fans force air over two massive arrays of aluminium fins, which are connected using over half a dozen copper heat pipes. MSI tells us that the front side of the card is covered by a black heat spreader featuring multiple fins. This heat spreader covers the usual components, the memory ICs, MOSFETs and so on. Apparently there's a copper heat pipe attached to the heat spreader to move heat away from the VRM components more efficiently. MSI has painted this heat pipe black, allowing it to blend into the heat spreader. Flipping the card over, we find a beautifully crafted backplate featuring some cool looking cutouts. Through those cutouts, you might have spotted a flat copper heat pipe behind the backplate. This doesn't wrap around to the front side of the card, rather it's intended to move heat away from the hotspots behind the GPU and inductors. This is a similar idea to what Gigabyte's done with their Aorus cards, you know, that copper insert that looks cool but doesn't actually do anything. Overall, I feel the backplate looks better, and I think this is a more sensible design that will actually work by transferring heat away from the GPU. So a very cool concept by MSI, and I'm keen to check it out for myself. Something you might have noticed as we've been looking around the card are the three PCIe 8-pin connectors, each capable of delivering up to 150 watts of power, so that's pretty insane. MSI has gone with a 14+3 power phase design, and of course this is a doubled up design which helps spread the thermal load. On board, MSI uses international rectifier controllers and advertises a board TDP of 350 watts, which is 100 watts above Nvidia's reference spec. When it comes to clock speeds, the Lightning Z supports 3 profiles. Out of the box, the card runs in gaming mode, which sees the core operate at a base clock frequency of 1582 MHz with a boost clock speed of 1695 MHz. The GDDR5X memory has also been overclocked to achieve a speed of 11.1 gigabits per second. There's also a silent mode which lowers the core to 1480 MHz for a boost speed of 1582 MHz, and these are the reference clock speeds. Finally, the fastest profile, which is of course named Lightning, and this configures the core to 1607 MHz, resulting in a boost frequency of 1721 MHz. Around at the I/O end of the card, the display connectivity includes a dual-link DVI port, dual HDMI 2.0 ports, and 2 display ports. There's no word on availability or pricing yet, but MSI tells us to expect more details in the coming month. Hopefully, I'll be able to secure a review sample around the same time. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'm your host Steve, and I'll catch you again soon.